In leadership and management, I think one of the most important things that just gets drilled down is the importance of time management. And yet I know that you have kind of a controversial opinion about time
I
management.
do. Well, I know that the way most people do time management and project management ultimately leads to wasting a whole lot of time.
So you feel like time management is a waste of time.
Well, time management, when you do it in a way that it actually serves, is not a waste of time. So I won't blanket say that it's a waste of time, but the way we do it is a waste of time.
So how are we doing it that doesn't work?
We think about time and resources in very mechanistic ways. So we've got these chunks of time that we're taking tasks and plunking them into these spaces of time. We have more and more tasks. We have less and less time to put those tasks into. So we're deconstructing things, right? And so when you do that, you just set up this dynamic of there's never enough. There's never enough time. There's never enough people and resources to do all these things that we're trying to do. So literally, it's like time collapses in on us and sets us up to fail, or at a minimum, not feel good about what we're doing because it never feels like enough. And it's not fulfilling, it's mechanistic, it's transactional. It just feels yucky. It doesn't feel good to us at some deep level when all we can do is keep doing more and more and more, and it never feels like enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody can sort of relate to that phrase. I wish that I had more hours in the day. I mean,
Right.
who hasn't heard that?
What? So we can keep doing more and more?
So we can keep doing more and more.
No, and and not to have it feel the way it does for most people. That's not what we want. It
Mhm.
really isn't.
How do we add more hours to the day?
The shift that I work with people to create in their life is to shift from mechanistic thinking about time to experiential thinking about time, where time expands instead of collapsing on us. So I have this handy dandy little Hoberman sphere that I like to use to describe this to people. So when you think of time in mechanistic and scarce ways, you have less and less and less and less time all the time. And you end up with time collapsing on you. There's never enough. You can think of time in experiential ways where it's not just what's on the clock, but it's actually you can experience when you're in states of flow and relaxation, time starts to expand. So a minute feels like more than a minute.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I've certainly experienced that when I've been in a creative state of flow,
Right.
time just flies, right? We've all had those
Right.
experiences.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody who's had a baby, you have moments where you're with that baby, and if they're calm and happy and you're just sitting there enjoying them, it's like you can see eternity in that baby's face, right? So it's that kind of, I mean, if people think about it, everyone has had that kind of
Yeah.
experience somewhere in their lives. So we're talking about bringing that into work instead of this scarcity, never enough about time. We're coming at it from a sense of abundance.
So what do you suggest in terms of how do we bring, how exactly does
Right.
one bring that into work?
So I like to use the affirmation to kind of bring this out for people. I have more than enough time to do everything I want.
Okay. That feels like a lie to me.
Yeah, I know it does. It does. Whenever I bring up, and I'm going to actually say it again.
Okay,
Okay.
please.
So I like to play with this with people, this sense of abundance about time with an affirmation. I have more than enough time to do everything I want.
I have more than enough time to do everything that I want.
Right. And you said that feels like a lie.
Yeah, I feel
And
like there's two parts of me. It's like there's one part that is like, that's not true. And then there's
Mhm.
another part that is like, I would love to believe that to be true.
Yes, and that's where most people end up. So mechanistic time,
Right.
it's not a true state. It's of course not,
Okay. Okay.
but experiential time. When I'm coming
Got it.
from abundance, I'm coming from a sense of the infinite and eternal nature of life, or energy, or ideas, right? This gets into spiritual realms for people. And so maybe, you don't want that, but you could think of it as like just your life force energy. Like If I'm sitting here and I think, okay, I can receive energy, I can receive information, ideas, creativity, there's literally no end to that. It can go on and on and on and on. So people can think of it however they want to think about it. But this sense of energy and information, abundance of life, experiencing time in that dimension, in that reality, allows us to take, the minute that would have not felt like enough and have it feel spacious and fulfilling and good. So we feel good about what we're doing in that moment. It's actually the work we're doing is energizing and nourishing, fulfilling and meaningful. And then you start stringing a bunch of those together, and your experience of project management and time management is very, very different and way more effective than it is when we only think of it in mechanistic ways.
I see what you're saying. So it sounds to me like what you're saying is we can still use the skills and the tools
Sure.
of project and time.
Of course, because they're really good. They're really good skills. We're just using them in these like Newtonian physics ways. And, you start thinking in terms of quantum physics and the nature of reality. And, the Newtonian world is very small and it's not all there is. It doesn't mean that it's not real. Yes, it's true, but there's so much more. And when life and work are uncertain and challenging and, there's all this change happening, if we're only thinking of, I'm going to project manage my way through this uncertainty, we're going to not do very well. It's just, it's not going to be effective.
Yeah. So how do you apply this when you feel the time crunch? Because I think we've all felt that.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So what you can do is take a breath. I have a mini mindful moment that we've done that's called the pause. Do the pause, right? So it's, you feel the crunch, you feel the pressure, you're going to feel that in your body, and it's going to feel literally like a contraction in your body. Notice it. Take the breath, center, and let your brain body awareness expand and relax here inside of yourself. And then bring that to whatever it is that you're applying your efforts to, and it will feel different. You will experience it differently.
Okay.
I'm thinking an example might be good here,
Okay.
right? Like if we could think of an example. So flow states, when people get in flow states and they've been in a crunch, what's something you, Molly, have experienced with this? Like a time crunch. I mean, you have a lot of clients you're working with, right? So
When a website needs to go live
yeah.
and there are a lot of last minute things that just get piled up right before the deadline.
Yeah. Okay. So if you get anxious and, in a contracted place and you're trying to get all those things done, how effective is that?
I feel scattered. Yeah.
You feel scattered. Now, many people feel more focused when they're anxious,
Right. Okay.
right? And so hyper focus can be really good for a deadline, like you're talking about. Okay.
Right.
So I want to get really real about this. It can be useful. So we're not saying that sort of tension, high pressure focus is not good. What we're saying, it's not good constantly, every day, day after day, for all the rest of your life.
Right. I can see that.
Right.
You could set yourself up for burnout after
Exactly.
a while,
Exactly.
after a lot of hyper focus.
Exactly. So like only hyper focus, and that's the only mode you have. That's the only leadership style you have. It's not conducive to collaboration and innovation and creativity. It's just not good for that. So it like in small doses here and there, like pepper sprinkled on the days of your lives, but not all the time.
So what happens in between these moments of hyper focus?
Yes. So this, again, the relaxation, the expansion of time, and practicing it. So I encourage people to do mindfulness as much as they can, at least 10 minutes a day as a minimum, and then bring what you experience in mindfulness practices into the application of how you do things during the day. So more deeper breath, more spaciousness, more energy coming to you,
Mhm.
more creativity, more of you in your own body showing up, engaging in open, aware, and connected ways with yourself and with others. And you're going to use whatever time you have and energy in much more effective ways.